Hello there everyone and welcome to the 2025 edition of my Sanremo tier list ranking here on my channel. There is a lot of national finals going all around Europe of course these days, and it's a bit difficult to keep track of all of them. However, one kind of stands out among the rest for me. I mean, if you're not a big fan of Sanremo, this video is probably not for you, because I'm a really big fan of Sanremo, and today I will just be sitting here praising it and praising the songs that we get provided each year from this little festival show thing they got going down in Italy. Of course, it's much more than just selecting a song for Italy in Eurovision, but the kind of concept that I'm going for on my channel here is to try and talk about as many national finals as I can, and at the end of the day, Sanremo can kind of be grouped into that because they will select Italy's Eurovision entry through Sanremo. That's kind of it. I mean, there are 29 songs in this festival, which is a lot. Like, usually if there are this many songs, I would just be like, okay, that's a bit too many. I don't know how I will be able to really take all of them in and really develop any kind of concise thoughts about all of them in such short time as well. But I mean, this Sanremo is an anomaly in that case, where I'm just very much loving it, and I'm getting quite obsessed with it really every single year, and this year is no different. These songs have all left impressions on me, some more than others of course, and in today's video I will just be talking a little bit about all of them. I'll try and keep myself as brief as possible since there are so many songs, but no promises really. I also have 7 tier categories here that I will be placing them out in. I can guarantee that there's nothing in the F tier today. We'll see if there's we'll see where everything lines up, and we'll see how stacked the top few categories will be, because I can probably assume already that they will be somewhat full. And you're completely free to disagree with any takes I have today. This is all for a bit of fun and just a space and time for me to just talk about something that I truly love. And just like last year, Sanremo this year kicked off. This is, by the way, the running order of the first night, because that's just the way I have them in my head associated. Just like last year, the first song to perform in Sanremo this year was an upbeat, superb pop tune to really kick Sanremo off, I think. Chiamo, chiami tu by Gaia. I need my notes here to really just get the titles right here. This is like a very just solid, very strong pop tune in my book that's very easy to listen to and very enjoyable, I would say. There's an effective progression that just leads to these returning choruses of a melodic identity and just consistent energy. They're very catchy choruses. It's a song that definitely gets me invested into it. I love the input from the strings during these somewhat monotonous beat parts of the hook, which are probably like maybe could be setbacks of the song, these kind of repeated chiamo tu parts, but the strings kind of makes that part refreshing as well. So some sparse detailing throughout the song as well makes it really fresh, I feel, and the horn in the second verse is just such a nice touch to boost that as well. This is a strong start. It's an A-tier song for me, A-tier performance, A-tier entry all together, you know, and lovely, really has to say. I really have to say that. So strong start. Kind of keeps going with Francesco Gabbani, who of course is very famous in the Eurovision context. This is Viva la vita, a very pretty ballad that he's going with here. There's something very timeless about this song, I feel, and the performance, I guess. The choruses, they feel very pleasant in the resolution they provide. The strings, they lift this composition really nicely, I would say. I'm unsure if this kind of song is like gets the best out of Gabbani's voice and vocal style. I mean, all the more power to him for wanting to make a song like this, but perhaps I'm not warming up to this as much as I would for his more upbeat effort from almost 10 years ago, of course. But there's just something about this that maybe doesn't sit entirely right with me, and it's really no fault of him or anything like that. But among all of these other wonderful ballads that you can get in Sanremo, I don't think this one stands out like above the others. There are like these many long and elevated notes, and they kind of have a little bit of an off flavor to my ears, I suppose. It's still very pleasant altogether and effective in the development of the song as well. I like the lighting as well that they went for with this performance. I'm placing this one in the B tier. I don't think it's among the stronger ballads in here, but I still very much enjoy it, of course, as you can see. B tier is still very good. Next up is Rkomi with Il ritmo delle cose, and regardless of Rkomi here for getting his shirt backstage, I love this. I really, really do. I think it works better as a studio cut because, you know, these kind of heavily processed vocals, they aren't as distracting when you listen to it in a studio cut, and that also highlights like the immense production quality of this song. I think just the production of it is truly, truly impressive. There is such clarity and playfulness in this song. Going along with this proper memorable hook that it has, just superb melody in there. It's perhaps not the most energetic consistently throughout the song, I would say, as the second verse kind of loses some of the momentum that the song has established, and also not the most impressive performance, I would say, when we saw it live. But I still really love this song, so I just gotta bump it up in the A tier. And I really love this song, but maybe this is always going to be difficult how you want to grade them within the categories. But I'll keep Rkomi on the right here. I'd say that Gaia here had a slightly superior performance to her song. Next up is Se ti innamori muori by Noemi. And this one broke me completely the first time I heard it, I've got to be honest. It's emotionally hard-hitting for sure, incredibly raw and gritty in terms of the vocals. I've never really been truly like shattered by Noemi's vocal style in her previous songs. This one, however, just broke me completely. This subtle instrumental early on, backing this kind of outcry from her passionate vocals, is a very effective mixture, and that then develops to these more grand choruses, and when that final chorus hits and really goes for it instrumentally, my emotions just let loose. Melodically, it has just a lot of pleasantly like rewarding intonations and a very kind of effortless rhythmic flow about it. It's structured perfectly. I get very invested into it. I think the vocals carry the identity of the track further, and it's my first and not my last S tier of Sanremo 2025. I would be stoked if this ends up, winning or at least getting a good result. So this one hit me for sure. I was also quite emotionally captivated by Irama's song this year. Lentamente is the name of it. Irama's song last year was probably even more hard-hitting for me, but this one isn't too far away, really, I have to be honest. The arrangement of this really enhances the pretty composition, I would say. I love how like dynamic the vocal lines in this song are throughout in terms of note interval. You feel like it's a very lively song in that aspect and very ambitious in terms of what it wants to do melodically. I wouldn't say that it's particularly memorable melodically. It's more just kind of impressive in terms of the intonation per se. I'd say that Irama's performance here is very, very compelling. I feel the emotion coming through very clearly. I'm unsure if I really click with this approach of such heavy vocal processing to layer the vocals here. But that's probably like the nitpick I have with the song. I think the song progresses beautifully. I love the moment when that electric guitar joins in before the finale. It's a very rewarding listen. It's got to be an A. It's top of A so far for me. It's not quite there as an S because I think the vocal style is a little bit on the distracting side in the performance, but it's very close, very close. Next up is Cose with Cuoricini. Yes, I think that's how they pronounce it in the song. They say the title of the song very many times in this one, and that is a little bit of a turn off for me. I'm very fond of this song. I think that I really like them as a duet mainly. I'd probably say that, and they have a fun little choreography. They have a fun little hook. There's like this great pulse in the backing track as well from mainly the synth bass, I would say. And it's a song that sticks in here, and the choreography, of course, enhances that impact as well. Effective structure, for sure. I think that like instrumental continuation towards the end, it's just a nice little boost, elevating the song there. Unfortunately, I just find the song to be too repetitive. I don't get that much enjoyment out of it because of that, but could be a me issue. But I guess I gotta go for like a C for Coma, a C for Cose, and a C for Cuoricini. It just felt like a C kind of song in terms of all of the names of it, and also from the listening experience that I got anyway. Still decent enough, but it's not my favorite in here for sure. Next up is Simone Cristicchi with Quando, sarai, piccola. Which, if Noemi's song broke me, I don't even know what this one did. This hit me like a ton of bricks, really. It's emotionally loaded, so beautifully sung. the vulnerability of this song is incredibly tangible. I listen to every word. I don't speak a word of Italian, and it hits still. You just feel the passion and the actual depth behind the song, and it hits so hard. It's storytelling at its finest, in my opinion. The subtle instrumental arrangement early on, backing up the vocals, is so carefully planned out, and it really hits just right. That final kind of climax when the orchestration expands is it's just inevitable to give me chills every single time. I think this is one of the most beautiful listens and mainly beautiful performances that I've come across in a very long time. This is undoubtedly what has just kind of wrecked me the most in a very long time. This is the top of S tier, and I've seen that it's definitely in the mix of being the favorite to win it all, and I would not mind in the slightest. I would be so stoked if that was to be the case. Not sure how good that would be for Italy's chances in Eurovision, but I wouldn't mind. I mean, it's special to me. I find it very, very special. I also find something very special about Pelle Diamante by Marcella Bella. I just kind of appreciate the inclusion of this song. It's very cool to see, clearly an elder woman perform a song with such attitude and drive to it. It's really fun in that regard. It's also quite a catchy song. That kind of stop line is just stuck in my head so easily. Every time you listen to the song, there's just something so charming about it and kind of uplifting in that energy that the song has. I would say that listening to the studio cut probably exposes a lot of the issues with its kind of insufficient production and very vintage sound, for sure. Neither the performance nor the instrumental is particularly exciting either, I would say, but I'm very glad it's here. It's not a Sanremo standout for me, but nice for including it. It's not one that I return to. It's probably like a D tier entry for me, but I'm very happy that it's in here and just provides some kind of variation, and really admirable to see the entry as a whole being included. Next up is another very effective ballad, I would say. This is Incoscienti, Giovani by Achille Lauro, and it's really admirable to see Achille sharing this side of himself as an artist as well. It's a very pretty ballad that's executed very carefully, I would say. I wouldn't say that it's the most emotionally gripping nor impressive in terms of development, but it's just very competently done and very pretty nonetheless. The finale, when the sax joins in, it felt a bit sudden, but I find it to be such a wonderful moment of an unexpected continuation with just this great resolution to the song that I actually really love that input. I think the song really becomes its own thing once that part kicks in, really. The identity of him as a singer and a performer, of course, gives the song that character before, but as a song on its own, I wouldn't be able to distinguish it too much from the others if it wasn't for that final part, and that really is what elevates it. I'm placing this one in the B tier, ahead of Francesco as well. I think this one's very, very strong. It's not among my favorites, but it's definitely up there, for sure. It's an enjoyable one. No skips from me on that one either, of course. There are very few songs in Sanremo that I tend to skip and just check out of. And of course, La Cura per me by Giorgia is not one of them either. I don't think I need to say a lot. This is also, of course, a big favorite to take it, and how happy I would be if that will end up being the case. This is an incredibly flawless performance, vocally so complete and convincing and secure. It's beautifully sung, beautifully presented. Love the lighting, love the camera work in here. She's a star on stage, she really is. The song has a purposeful flow, just sense of direction in this song's progression as well. The strings that they join in, they're kind of this very shrill of emotion on top of this consistent piano. And then the more intense section after the second chorus, just leading into the finale, is so compelling to me. And Georgia's vocal showcase it really becomes here, that follows there, is an instant kind of recipe for giving me chills, for sure, anyway. Melodic writing and delivery of the vocals just makes this song really kind of truly soar throughout. It's an S. I don't even know how I want to rank them within the S tier. I think the other two hit me harder, but this one is just perfectly written, perfectly arranged, perfectly performed. I really can't decide. S tier, that much I know. Grazie ma no grazie by Willie Peyote. One of the most fun songs I've come across in such a long time. It's just good vibes, and great vibes. I love it. This kind of iconic guitar line that kicks off the song is just constant in providing charm and energy through the song. This hectic bass walk that comes in, it just provides a great pulse for the song, along with the drum beat, really. Vocally, very fast-paced throughout. It feels like it's just non-stop engagement from the vocals, and that could easily become way too much. But it's just fully embracing the fun nature of the track here with this vocal style, I would say. It's arguably probably the most, I wouldn't say like the most catchy song in the show, but I would say the one that just sticks in here. This grazie ma no grazie line is just imprinted in here from the first listen, really. Arguably, probably could be the most fun listen of the entire selection for me anyway. The studio cut goes on repeat for me, for sure. I just wish maybe like the performance had something especially memorable about it, because right now it's just very much kind of a performance without much afterthought about how to make it as engaging as possible. Right now it's a song being presented, but we're not getting that extra little quality to it with a creative performance to it. Maybe that could come if this one ends up winning Sanremo. I don't think its chances are very high, though. This is very... Sorry. This is very, very top of A tier, for sure for me. I love every single second of this. It's not perfect, but I'm having the time of my life with it, for sure. Next up is Fuorilegge by Rose Villain. And I have similar issues to this one as I had with Rose Villain's song from last year, unfortunately. Like vocally, there are some great intonation here, rhythmically quite gripping as well. The bridges are quite stunning, really, I have to say. But the chorus is unfortunately kind of a monotonous total letdown for me, at least. Like, I understand this laid-back beat is a cool dynamic for some, but it's too minimalistic and uninteresting for me to really enjoy that aspect. That, like, there's clear promise of a melodic quality throughout this song, and it's disappointing that they kind of dropped that ambition for their hook and instead try to make something catchy without much substance. It's like it's a lack of finesse for me in blending these sections together, and I find the choruses to be equally disappointing every time they come along. Also, just don't get me started on this kind of hand clap along section that feels so half-hearted towards the end. Still, this song definitely has its moments, and I think it has very, very strong moments. It's vocally quite impressive as well. It's very, very, not hard-hitting, but very engaging in that regard. A lot of strengths. I just don't like the hook. I'm placing it in the C tier, probably above Cose, to be honest, but it's still a C for me anyway. Next up is Balorda Nostalgia by Ollie, and this song just kind of sparkles of almost as much emotion as Ollie's pants do here. His emotional delivery of the song in the performance is undeniable, for sure, in terms of passion. I mean, you can see on his facial expressions throughout the song, he cares for this and he goes all out, and kudos for that. Melodically pleasant for a track of its nature as well, I would say. I really like how the acoustic guitar is the core of the song. That's really nice. The choruses elevate this song very, very well. And there's kind of like this timeless quality to the arrangement as a whole, I would say. Convincing performance, lovely tune. It's gotta be an A, doesn't it? I'll place it slap bang in the middle of the A's here because, yeah, it just feels right in the middle of there. Another great one. Really great one, fantastic one even. Speaking of that, we have Elodie with Dimenticarsi alle sette. Yeah, love this one, for sure. Synth work is crazy great in this song. Like this subtle introduction of the rhythmically very distinct bass walk that comes in there, so nicely done. And then you got Elodie here who just carries this song forward so comfortably. You're very safe in the hands of her performance, really. It's a performance to just kind of sit back and enjoy being safely transported through its dynamic shifts of mood, of melody, and of energy. It flows very naturally, and Elodie here is kind of the guide throughout it all that feels so comfortable with it. Incredibly well-flowing, while still providing kind of various sections of equal memorability, I would say. It's just an absolute joy to experience. It's got to be an S. It's up there. Yeah, nothing more to say. La Mia Parola by Shablo, Gue, Joshua, and Tormento is a very refreshing addition to the selection. I must say, I enjoy this being a part here. It stands out for sure, absolutely. And I found the studio cut to be a really fun listen. I love this kind of sound design on all of the keys and the detailing scattered throughout the song, but it's not the most convincing of performances, I would say. Arguably, I would say it's probably like... There are a lot of songs within the selection that actually have kind of some rapping inputs in them, and I would say that this is arguably the least enjoyable rapping here for me. I'm not gonna say that it's the weakest rapping because I don't know much about rap, so maybe it's the best, but for me it's the least enjoyable rap verses. The hook is surely a proper vibe. I'm definitely clicking with that, but I'm not so much enjoying this as a performance as much as I am just kind of vibing with the song as a studio cut. I'm placing this one in the D tier as well. I don't really have a preference among the two. I think this one probably has the weaker performance in general. I'm not returning to watch this performance really ever, and I don't see myself doing it either. Moving on to Massimo Ranieri, a Eurovision classic, vintage dude from the 70s in Eurovision with songs that I really enjoyed back then. Tra le mani un cuore. Do I love this one as well, or like it anyway? Yeah, I'd say so. It's palpable, kind of in terms of its drama. It's like a very dramatic arrangement altogether. It's a bit on the slow side. It's kind of pedestrian, and I understand if people aren't really fans of it. It's not particularly exciting. However, I'd say that it has a captivating atmosphere to it, at least for me. I adore the saxophone implementation that the song has. It just pushes it above, like, to the next tier for me. And I'd say that Massimo Ranieri here comes across as a pro still, and it's just lovely to see him. I'm placing this one in the B tier as well. I think it's kind of in the same vein as Francesco Gabbani's song there. This one has maybe not as much of kind of an uplifting quality to it, but I just love that saxophone input that it has, for sure. Next up is Dame na mano by Tony Effe, which is a song, again, studio cut is very much in my ears quite often. This guitar opening alone matched with this kind of spoken word, of course that hooked me instantly. It's very much something that's just appealing to me, this kind of style for going for. I love the tense ambiance of this track as well. The percussion is very effective in building drive to this song, and the verses really highlight, I'd say, the song's quality in terms of its setting. Vocally, it's kind of like an unimpressive live performance that holds back my enjoyment here, I gotta say. It loses a bit of momentum as well after the first chorus, maybe. I think that's definitely a very memorable part of the song, because you kind of get into this first chorus and you feel like, okay, vocally it doesn't hold up here. It feels very strained and not as comfortable. And then the second verse kind of kills the energy of the song as well, or the momentum of it. And then you feel like, okay, now I've gotten a bit lost here. Melodically, it flows nicely for sure, but I'm not convinced. But yeah, quite a vibe in the studio cut. Not the most convincing performance. I gotta go for a C tier on this one. It has its moments for sure, but I'm not sold on it, I would say. However, something I'm very, very sold on is Anima e Core by Serena Brancale. Yeah, what a standout. When this song started, you just felt like, okay, this definitely stands out. Flows incredibly well, like continuously maintained high energy in the song. Rhythmically brilliant, so addictive. So many like fun rhythmic combinations that stay lively throughout, and pretty like credible, colorful arrangement altogether, I would say. Greatly fun song with a greatly fun performer, to be honest. This kind of ceaseless energy of this song is simply irresistible for me anyway. Fantastic all around. I don't really know how to just express all of my positive feelings about this, because I love every second, and I think it's such an outstanding effort in really every area. It's got to be another S, and now I have no idea how to arrange these S's up here. Let's actually put her. Let's put her there. Yeah, I want to do that. Okay. Next up is Brunori Sas with L'albero delle Nocchi. I don't know. This one hasn't really left the most memorable impression on me, I would say, but it's a very sweet tune, for sure. I adore this chorus melody that song has. It probably soars in this track, and that's really the standout part. You feel like such a such a release every time the chorus hits. The verses aren't as memorable per se, but the chorus just has this elevation that feels so pleasant, and it kind of becomes as I said, like this very proper release of kind of the provided tension before. Strings elevating it in support is also just very stunning. A lot of strong qualities within the song that makes it work. I'm placing it in the B tier. I'll place it up here, I would say. That seems right to me anyway. A lot of male ballads in the B tier, I've just realized. Will Moda's song Non ti dimentico join them? I'm not sure. I enjoyed this way more when I heard it in the studio cut, I will say, because I'm a softie for soft rock, I suppose, and this is very reminiscent of like early 2000s rock. But in the performance, it's vocally a bit difficult for me to connect with anyway. I didn't particularly enjoy that. I want this vocal to be very commanding and secure and just completely elevate the song and enhance the emotional impact of it. And I would have preferred a singing style with just more clarity and poignant pitch, perhaps. Instrumentally, he has some stunning moments for sure. The drumming is like the superb core of it all, and this effective development of the song as well. It's a lot to do with the drumming. Instrumentation-wise, altogether, it is very pretty. Vocally, I haven't connected with it, therefore it will be a C. However, I'm placing it top of C tier because it's a studio cut that I really enjoy. Next up is Febre by Clara, or Clara, I don't know, but she's back, of course, from last year where I loved her song Diamante Grezzi, and she just kind of took that and went a step further. This first minute of this performance just gave me the most immense Winner vibes with the camera work, the cinematography, the choreography, everything in terms of layout and staging, along with the dramatic build of the song. This visual identity that I had goes perfectly with this dramatic opening strings, subtle beat of the verse, and that first build up with its like earworm of a hook, and as the beat joins in, it's so effectively put together, and it's like a proper hole-in-one with everything that it's got going for there. It's a highly energetic tune throughout as well, with a strong beat behind it, blend section of this great tension with a release of pure foot tap friendly energy in a brilliant way. Instrumental continuation after the second chorus really just floored me the first time I heard it. How perfectly did that hit? Very perfectly, I'd say. It's another S. I'll place it there. I don't even know. You can change around the S tier however much you want. I don't even know anymore. We'll see if there will be even more songs up there. Perhaps. I'm not ruling it out. Lucio Corsi with Volevo essere un duro. This one isn't really the one that has stuck with me, I will be honest. It certainly has a visual identity for obvious reasons. I'm very fond as well of the panning here. I think that's probably its main strength. Very, very much emphasizing the fact that we got two musicians on stage on either side of the stage and either side of the soundstage when you listen to it as well. That's quite nice. And this electric guitar is charmingly piercing in this song, I would say. Melodically, it hasn't stuck with me. Song as a whole is sweet, for sure, harmless, but ultimately also quite uninteresting to me, and maybe a bit pedestrian. I don't know really what to feel about it. I think it's probably a D. It's not particularly interesting to me anyway. So I'll just move on to Batito by Fedez, which is definitely a song that I find interesting. I think the synth lead in the song is so effective that melody sticks into your head immediately after you hear it. I love how the vocal layers with that melody in the chorus as well of the hook of the track. It kind of makes it have an even stronger imprint or impression on your mind. Jersey Club beat that it's using is always going to win me over. Like I love just the absolute rhythmic distinction of that. It hits so hard. I wouldn't really say that this kind of chopped up structure that the song has is very much for me. It's intriguing, but I'm not entirely sold on it. But I don't know. It could just be a thing to warm up to. I adore the over-dramatic touch of the whole song for sure. That's one part. But probably more enjoyable in the studio cut again, because this vocal processed layer behind the lead vocal in the performance here, it's a bit distracting. I'd say that it fits the track, but it's a bit distracting when you watch it live, and I'm not sold on that. I'd say that this is an A, but it's probably among the weaker A's here, but I'd still want to put it in an A because I think the song is brilliant. So yeah, that's what I'm going for. La Tana del Granchio or Granchio by Bresh is another one that I just find to be stunning, really. Instrumentation that's so warm and comforting to me anyway. The arrangement is probably like a warm blanket altogether. Some pleasant chord intervals scattered throughout the song all leads into this melodically very, very pretty chorus, I would say. Proper uplifting tune that just takes away all of my worries in an instant. It's so well put together and with the right proper ambition to just make everyone feel like it's just a beautiful time to listen to the song, really. It's very close to being an S for me, really, but I wouldn't say that it's vocally perfect, again due to this kind of effect work that it's using. It's damn close to an S, but I will keep it just behind and put it very much in the same bracket as Grazie ma no grazie. These two are so close to S, but I want to put them in A for whatever reason. I really don't know. Amar Kord here, for sure among my favorite songs in here, I would say that much. It's a perfect pop tune, very much in the vein of the 2024, of my 2024 beloved Sinceramente. I think a lot of people have caught up with the similarities, really. I wouldn't say that Sarai is, of course, as quite as a convincing performance as Annalisa was last year, but I'll stop with the comparisons there because it's unfair. But the performance isn't as convincing as I want this song to be, for sure. Vocally, it is a bit unstable throughout, and that holds back a pop tune that really demands the most secure and assertive of performances, and I don't think that we really get that here. It's admirable what Sarah is trying to do. I've come to learn that she's very, very young, of course, but a song like this really demands a properly convincing, assertive, and just decisive performance, and I don't think I have that here. Still, a banger of a tune with properly addictive chorus, forceful energy pushing the song forward, and the studio cut is a blast to listen to. I'm placing it in the B tier because I have my qualms with it. Right in the middle of the B tier, I'd probably say. But yeah, it's got to be a B for the performance. Next up is Echo by Joan Thiele. As I see that I'm way over 30 minutes of just talking now. One of my absolute favorites. I don't even know how to put into words what I feel about this song. It's so stunning to me. Glorious composition, wonderful, perfectly piercing setting atmospherically in the song. Hauntingly descending chord interval that it's based off of completely, hand in hand with this very uneasy atmosphere that the song really builds up. In terms of its world building, it's very transported in that way with the instrumentation here. And then the arrangement really makes this tension incredibly palpable, I would say. Melodically striking choruses, so eloquently sung live as well by her here. And a performance that certainly commands your full attention, at least mine. Paired with a song that just holds me tightly. I don't I dare lose focus for even a millisecond. It's songwriting at its finest. It's perfectly executed in terms of the performance. It is definitely... I'm very torn whether I prefer Simone or Joan here. They're completely tied for me, but these are the two big S's that just stand above the other S's for me, I think. Speaking of SS, I'll probably put Mille Vota Ancora by Rocco Hunt up there as well. I gotta say, the beat of this song is stellar. The rapping is even better, I would say. The hook is the cherry on top. Impressive flow to it all. I just love the way the song progresses. Properly characteristic with its guitar pattern at the core of it all. Effective bass walks, dynamic percussion, an in-your-face vocal delivery from start to finish, and one of the most attention-grabbing songs in the selection for me. I love every single second of this. I think it's brilliant, wonderfully executed, a properly fun song to listen to at any time, and I'm having a blast with it. It's gotta be an S. I don't even know where in this S category I will put it, so let's just throw it in there. I don't know. That feels most right, I suppose. And as I only have 2 songs left to talk about, I realized that my memory is definitely running full, so I had to make a little bit of a cut here. Sorry for that. But yeah, I've been talking way too much about Sanremo, as happens every year. Okay, song number 28, Fango in Paradiso by Francesca Michelin, which, another one that just kind of hit me like a truck, gotta be honest. I just adore Francesca's performance in this song, for sure. She brings a lot of real emotion to this song, I would say. A performance that holds my attention so tightly. Vocally, really dynamic song as well, which I very much enjoy. There's a lot of moments of vulnerability, then compare that with lots of kind of frustration or anger or desperation, and that dynamic between the two, or the contrast really, hits me very hard, and I think that's quite tangible in this song. This showcase of both vulnerability and desperation, it's very effective, and at least on me as a listener and as an audience. The backdrop, I think, also has both, intimate verses and ultimately quite a grand finale to this song, really. In the midst of all of the other Sanremo ballads here, I'm not sure if it stands out the most, but it's still perfectly executed to this standard, I would say. It's another one that I'm tempted to put at the top, but I can't. Like, there are too many songs up there. I'm placing it right next to Irama and Bresh. I think she fits in perfectly there in the middle with this wonderful ballad. And we're going off with a bang, of course. Like, aesthetically speaking, there shouldn't be more songs in the S tier, but no one gave that memo to the colors with Tu con chi fai l'amore. I mean, it's simply impossible to sit still to this, for sure. The bass walks are strikingly addictive, the drumming is consistently high in energy, but when it properly goes for it during those choruses, I lose it completely. It's too good. The chorus very much highlights a memorable melody and layers it with fun strings, and you got the charismatic performance going along with that altogether. It just has to be an S for being the most suitable closer of all time, for sure. I mean, right? How can you end on a higher high than having this fun package to just finish off the whole thing with? Brilliantly performed, brilliantly arranged song that just is all about the fun, all about the engagement with the audience and the listener as well. And it's all about its energy, and I can't sit still to it. It's got to be an S. I don't even... Where are we putting it? Maybe there. Yeah, why not? Just ruined the aesthetic of the list completely here. But I gotta be honest, that's probably how my list would look. I'm tempted to put even more songs up in the S tier, but I gotta keep myself together. I'm comparing the songs from Sanremo of how much I would have enjoyed them as well if they would have been in another national final. And then I think maybe then I'm even a little bit harsh here, to be completely honest. There are probably more songs that should be bumped up a tier or so. But I'm sticking with this. Whatever you feel about it, you can let me know in the comments. What do you think of Sanremo this year? Are you excited, stoked for it? Are you disappointed by it? Please let me know as well. Personally, I love it so much. I've been having the playlist on repeat throughout, like, so much. Just getting to know these songs, delving into them, and listening to them over and over again. I think it's a wonderful year for Sanremo. Maybe that's a hot take, what do I know? But in my opinion, I've loved every single second of it. And hopefully you have enjoyed watching this video as well. If you've made it all the way to the end and you've watched it in its entirety, I don't know what to say, really. But thank you if that's the case. Until next time, I'm not sure. There will be a bit of a break before the next tier list because I will be going away for a little while. So yeah, that's just the way it is. But hopefully I'll see you all in the next video I post, whenever that's going to be. Take care of yourselves until then, and bye for now.